Chapter 11, The Knowledge of Benefits Conferred, Gratitude. This is a recording from live on YouTube for, for the benefit of ThirukkuRaL study group or the study group of perennial wisdom. In this chapter there are, as always, there are 10 couplets emphasizing and explaining the importance of gratitude. So gratitude is the human nature of not forgetting the good done to us by others, and also the human nature is to acknowledge it thankfully. As a matter of fact, this gratitude is not just a human nature. To my knowledge, even animals, if not all animals, there are animals which show the gratitude, and domestic animals, particularly dogs, all domesticated animals they express their thanks. And there is a famous story of Androcles and the lion, and the lion remembers the good deed and thus wouldn't kill Androcles. So it's a natural feeling, and the difference is, as human beings, we can openly say thanks and then remember it, and when occasion comes, we can return the help. But at least we should acknowledge and say thanks. In this chapter, there are 3 types of good deeds are mentioned as the most commendable acts. One is help rendered by one who did not receive any help before. This is the help given not as a return of a help received earlier. And so sometimes it happens, a total stranger, somebody whom you haven't met before and you are not likely to meet again, and they come forward to help materially or in kind, but still it's a help. And then the second one is the timely help, which is help given at the right time. That's without any hesitation, and just when you are in dire need, here comes a help. And this could be from a stranger or from a friend, from a sibling, from a family, from an associate. It doesn't matter, but the nature of the help is timely. And then the third is the help given without expecting any returns from the recipient. So this is slightly different from the first one. It could be done by somebody who has not received any help before, or somebody coming and giving a help, but not with a reason or with purpose or with an agenda. The act of forgetting the help received and denying to acknowledge the help received, the act of forgetting the help received and denying to acknowledge the help received is mentioned as a crime that is totally unforgivable. This chapter is more about realizing the help received than about returning the help. There is mention about the help and the recipient, but none about the one who rendered the help. People of gratitude will praise the very fact that the help was rendered, without attributing any measure for the size or quantity of help. People of gratitude will praise the very fact that the help was rendered, without attributing any measure for the size or quantity of the help. One should forever remember and keep in touch with those who rendered help, while immediately forget any harm rendered by others. Even when one caused a big hurt, any small help given by that person would make one forget the hurt. It is emphatically stated that there is no recourse for one who forgets or fails to realize the help received. So uh, these are the points uh, brought out in this particular chapter in the 10 couplets. And so we will talk about the paraphrase of the 10 couplets from this chapter. There are lots of translations one can find. I've given some resources in the Facebook group page, or you can always find by making a Google search or bookshops. There are any number of English translations, some poetic, some uh, just an explanation, some with poetic translation and explanation. The one uh, I'm giving here is from the one by Reverend G.U. Pope, perhaps one of the earliest English translations of the complete three volumes, three books of ThirukkuRaL. This was done in the late part of 19th century, and he's a British missionary. And before that, it was translated by Beschi, an Italian, and that translation was in Latin. So, um, I've given in the introduction, there are some passages I've read and recorded where G.U. Pope and three other missionaries' contribution to Tamil and ThirukkuRaL are given. So here, let us see this the explanations given by G.U. Pope. Pope has also given translation, but I'm just talking about the explanation. So, um, couplet 101, it says, the gift of heaven and earth is not an equivalent for a benefit which is conferred where none has been received. So that means that kind of help, the help given without having received any help before. So when someone gives a help or when you receive a help from somebody who has not been helped by you before, could the immediate example is parents and particularly mother, and uh, we get help from them uh, even though we have not given any help before. And such for such a help, this author says, even heaven and earth cannot be equated. So you have no way of returning that help. That doesn't mean that you should not return, but you should try to do that. But it's of such a great value. 102. The couplet says, a favor conferred in the time of need, though it be small in itself, is in value much larger than the world. So again, it's a poetic exaggeration, but basically, the second type of help where the help is given in time of need, just when it is actually needed and right on time. It may be a small help. Sometimes we get stranded and we don't know what to do. Then some stranger, somebody comes with some form of help. It could be in any form, even something animals. Um, there may be some help, and that timely help is so big that you can say that even the whole world cannot be given back in return for that kind of help. Number 103, the third couplet in this chapter. If we weigh the excellence of a benefit which is conferred without weighing the return, it is larger than the sea. So this is the help given uh, with no concern for the return. Most of the charities are supposed to be like that. We don't expect any return. We don't want to expect return. We just want to help those in need. And so if we receive such a help, somebody helps without expecting any return, then that is even larger than the sea. This in terms of value. Couple 104. Though the benefit conferred be as small as a millet seed, those who know its advantage will consider it as large as a palmyra fruit. Again, it's a comparison, but the now comes the reaction of the recipient. A, a cultured person will value the help, it not by the size of the help, but by the very fact that it was given as a benefit, and so it will be valued much more than the actual size. 105. The benefit itself is not the measure of the benefit. The worth of those who have received it is its measure. So here, uh, what it says is that the uh, sometimes the the help has to be given to those in need, but sometimes people who there are instances when one could be not deserving the benefit, and but still they are given the benefit. So the actual value of the benefit is not measured by the size of the benefit, but by the merit of the person who received it. We can think of examples, or maybe we can, in the comments column, uh, you can add those who are reading it, the participants, members can add any examples, any stories, fictitious or real time from their own life or from their friend's life, examples of these things, which will help us strengthen the idea. Next, number 6, forsake not forsake not the friendship of those who have been your staff in adversity. Forget not the benevolence of the blameless. So it's important to remember, thanking, gratitude is just feeling and remembering that, and then also expressing the gratitude. Both are included. So uh, any anybody who helped you when you were in difficulties, they have to be remembered forever. The wise will remember throughout their sevenfold births the love of those who have wiped away their affliction. So again, uh, some of it is exaggeration. When this is sevenfold births, uh, it could be interpreted in several ways. And this author and the Eastern religions, particularly, they all uh, believe in rebirth and reincarnation, and it is even getting popular among in Western world also. So um, 7 is just a number. It means for even not just this birth. If a wise person will remember this for a long time, the help of such benefits will be remembered for a long time. And in other words, it's a good idea, and the author is suggesting and recommending that if you want to be considered wise, and if you want to be accepted by the society, then you better remember the love of those who helped your affliction, any problem, anything. Those who helped should be remembered. Couplet number 8. It is not good to forget a benefit. It is good to forget an injury even in the very moment in which it was inflicted. So this is something to bear in mind. On the one hand, it's very important not to forget any benefit that was done, any help given. But on the other hand, if by chance somebody hurts you or you feel hurt by somebody, the best thing is to forget it right away. And that's the way to have happy and blessed life. Uh, Number 9, though one inflict an injury great great as murder, it will perish before the thought of one benefit conferred. So again, this is all poetic exaggeration, but basically, even big hurt can be can be wiped off by thinking of one benefit. Out of if somebody has done lots of harm, but if you remember that one instance where that person was of help, that should help you to forget and help you to overcome the grief. The last couplet, number 10. He who has killed every virtue may yet escape. There is no escape for him who has killed the benefit. So this is a very powerful statement. Uh, there are several virtues which people violate, or there are several bad deeds or sins which people commit. But uh, when it comes to gratitude, this author says that for others you can have recourse. You may be able to get pardoned, you may forget, you may get overcome those things. But one who has forgotten this virtue of gratitude has absolutely no recourse. They will That's the greatest sin and will get greatest punishment. Notable features of this chapter. Realizing the value of help received is highly praised. Immeasurable, tangible items like the earth, heaven, and ocean are used as metaphors to indicate the value of help received. The distinction between help, size, price, quantity of help rendered, and realizing the help, the value of the receiver, is brought out by comparing them, respectively, to millet seed and palmyra tree. Eternal nature of the value of help is also brought out in terms of 7 generations or 7 reincarnations. While praising the good nature of realizing and remembering the help received, this chapter also brings out the height of criminal nature of forgetting the help. One who forgets the help, one who forgets the help received is condemned to a judgment harsher than the one who did the most heinous of evil. Such a person has absolutely no recourse or pardon. So it's something to think about. I'll continue on this with some more information uh, in the next lecture or next reading.